Welcome to the Two Beans in a Pod. I want you to just picture a specific moment. It's Sunday evening, maybe 7:00 p.m. The sun is going down, you've just finished dinner, and you're trying to, relax on the couch, maybe put on a movie.
But you can't.
You can't focus. There's this, physical sensation, a tight knot right in the center of your chest. It's the Sunday scaries.
It is a visceral feeling. And it's not just about hating Mondays, is it? It's deeper than that.
It really is. It's that feeling of returning to a life that doesn't actually feel like it belongs to you.
That's it. You're just fulfilling an assignment.
Exactly. Here we go again. I have to put on the costume, commute to the building, sit in the chair, and do a task someone else gave me. It feels inevitable.
But what if it isn't? I think that's the core question we're tackling today. We're unpacking the philosophy of Dan Koe, specifically focusing on his book, Purpose and Profit.
And this isn't just another how to quit your job guide.
Yeah.
It's a roadmap for a complete psychological overhaul.
It is. It's about moving from being a, quote, useful worker, which sounds painfully like a cog in a machine.
Yeah, it does.
To becoming a sovereign creator.
It's heavy stuff, but definitely necessary stuff.
Yeah.
Before we really get into it, though, I just have one quick request.
Go for it.
If you get any value out of these conversations, please hit that like button and subscribe to support the channel. It really helps us keep the lights on and the coffee brewing.
Absolutely. And to sort of set the stage here, we need to address that feeling of assignment you just mentioned. Koe argues that most people are operating with low agency.
Low agency. That sounds a bit like being an NPC, a non-playable character in a video game.
That is a perfect analogy. It really is. Low agency means you're waiting for instructions.
Okay.
You wait for the teacher to give you the assignment, the boss to give you the project, the government to give you the rules. You're just reacting.
So you're not the main character.
Exactly. Koe's entire philosophy is about shifting to high agency. That means you stop waiting. You create your own path. You solve your own problems. You become the main character in your own story.
Okay, so let's look at the landscape of work, because he breaks this down into three categories. A job, a career, and a calling. And I think most of us kind of use those words interchangeably.
We do, but he definitely doesn't. The distinctions are really sharp. So let's start with the job.
Right.
In this framework, a job is purely a survival mechanism. It's unpleasant work you do for someone else, and it's solely for the paycheck.
Wow. He calls it a milestone on the path to living up to those who shaped your mind. Honestly, that's kind of insulting.
It is, but in many ways, he's saying, yes, you're fulfilling a script that society wrote for you. You go to school, get the grades, get the job.
It's just a box-checking exercise.
It is. Then you have the career. This is a step up. It involves development, climbing a hierarchy. It brings some order to your life because you have a clear path forward. Manager, director, VP.
But it's still a ladder someone else built for you. You're still climbing a wall that might not even be the one you want to be on.
Exactly. Which brings us to the calling. And this is the gold standard. A calling isn't something you do from 9 to 5. It's work you can't pull yourself away from.
He describes it as the intersection where improvement turns into obsession.
Right. And obsession sounds negative, but he means it in the best way. It's that flow state.
But here's the kicker. He says, a calling cannot be assigned.
That is the critical point. A teacher can give you homework. A boss can give you a project. No one can assign you a calling. You have to discover it.
And that's where the friction comes in, isn't it? Because our whole education system is designed to train us out of discovering things and into completing assignments.
Let's pull on that thread because he goes pretty hard on the school system. He brings up the Prussian model, right?
He does. And this isn't just some, conspiracy theory stuff. It's historical fact.
For sure. The modern education system, referencing that Prussian model from the 1800s, it wasn't designed to create philosophers or creatives.
No, it was designed to create obedient soldiers and factory workers.
Sit in rows, don't speak unless you're spoken to, wait for the bell.
It's factory training, really is.
Precisely. It conditions the brain to crave external validation. You do the work to get the A, you do the job to get the bonus. You're outsourcing your dopamine loop to an authority figure.
Which leads to this state he calls psychic entropy.
Yeah.
Okay, psychic entropy. That sounds like a sci-fi weapon. What does that actually mean in plain English?
Think of your mind like a room. If you don't organize it, it gets messy. Entropy is that natural tendency toward chaos and disorder.
Right.
And when you don't have a self-chosen goal, a mission, your mind doesn't just sit still. It turns on itself. It drifts into anxiety, boredom, chaos.
So that feeling when you're doom scrolling on your phone for 3 hours
Yeah.
and you just feel gross and anxious afterwards,
Yeah.
that's psychic entropy.
That is exactly it. Your attention has nowhere to go, so it just fragments. When you have a calling, your attention is focused like a laser. The chaos just disappears because there's order and direction.
So the goal is to stop letting the world assign us tasks that bore us and start creating tasks that obsess us. But let's play devil's advocate here for a second.
Okay.
That sounds great for, a wellness retreat, but the world is changing fast. AI is here. Is finding your calling just a luxury, or is it actually a survival strategy?
Koe argues it's the ultimate survival strategy. He has this very stark prediction. He says the entry level is going extinct.
That is terrifying. I mean, think about how many people work in entry-level jobs. Data entry, basic coding, customer service.
And if your job can be reduced to a repeatable set of instructions, an AI will do it. It'll do it faster, cheaper, and it won't complain about the Sunday scaries.
So if you're a useful worker who just follows orders, you're directly competing with algorithms.
Yeah.
And you will lose.
You will lose.
So if the bottom rung of the ladder is just being sawed off, where do we go? Does everyone become an entrepreneur?
Yes, but we have to redefine entrepreneur. We're not talking about starting a massive tech company or opening a dry cleaner.
Right.
Koe defines entrepreneurship as a state of mind. It's about solving problems.
Okay, break that down for me.
Yeah.
What's the real difference between the employee mindset and the entrepreneur mindset?
The employee mindset specializes. It says, I am an accountant. I do spreadsheets. That is all I do. It's like an insect highly specialized for one task.
Okay.
The entrepreneur mindset is what Koe calls the Deep Generalist.
The Deep Generalist. Is that like being a jack of all trades, master of none?
No, it's more like jack of all trades, master of integration. Think of it like a stack of skills.
Right.
Let's say you're a pretty good writer. On its own, that's kind of a commodity.
Hard to make a living, yeah.
But let's say you're a writer who also understands behavioral psychology. And on top of that, you understand digital marketing.
Okay, so now you're a triple threat.
Exactly. You can connect the dots. You aren't just writing words. You're using psychology to persuade people through a marketing funnel. That combination is very rare.
A specialist is easy to replace with AI. A deep generalist who can connect different domains. That's very hard to replicate.
So adaptation is the new job security.
All right, let's talk about the fuel for all this.
Yeah.
Money. Because usually when people talk about callings and purpose, they get very woo-woo about it.
Oh, yeah. Follow your passion and the money will follow.
Right. Or don't worry about the money. Koe does not say that.
Not at all. He calls money unignorable. And I think that's such a healthy way to look at it.
It is.
You can pretend you're above material concerns, but if you can't pay your rent, your brain just goes into survival mode. You can't paint your masterpiece if you are terrified of eviction.
It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, basically.
Yeah.
Food and shelter come before self-actualization.
Precisely. And Koe has this great line, you start for the vanity, stay for the therapy.
I love that. Unpack that for me.
It just means it's okay to be superficial at the beginning. Let's say you want to start a business because you want a Porsche, or you want to impress your high school bully.
Okay.
That's fine. Use that energy. It gets you off the couch.
So the vanity is the spark.
Yes. But once you make the money, once you buy the Porsche,
Yeah.
you realize it doesn't actually fix your internal state. But the process of making that money, the discipline, the problem solving, that changes who you are. The money buys you freedom.
It buys you the time to focus on the higher level stuff. So demonizing money is actually a trap.
It is. If you say money is evil, you're essentially choosing to stay in survival mode forever. You're choosing to keep your potential locked up because you're too busy fighting for scraps.
Okay, so let's get practical. Let's say I'm listening to this, I'm stuck in a cubicle, I'm broke, and I'm miserable.
Yeah.
How do I get from the, wage cage to sovereign creator?
He maps this out in what he calls the 4 levels of purpose. This is the roadmap. Level 1 is survival. We just talked about this. You're reactive. You're living paycheck to paycheck. Your only goal is to keep your head above water.
Which is stressful and exhausting.
Then comes level 2, status. This is where you get a better job, you get some savings, you start buying nice things to signal to the tribe that you're valuable.
And a lot of people get stuck here, right? They get the golden handcuffs, nice car, big mortgage, but a miserable life.
They do. But Koe argues you need to go through this phase. You have to prove to yourself that you can win the game. You can't just transcend the material world if you haven't conquered it yet.
But eventually, the status game gets boring. The dopamine hit from the new car wears off faster and faster.
And that leads to level 3, Creativity. This is the pivot point. You stop doing things to impress others, and you start doing them because you want to master the craft. You start experimenting.
You move from being a competitor to a creator.
Exactly. And the final boss level is level 4, contribution. This is where the cycle completes. You've mastered your craft, you've secured your freedom, and now you turn around and help others do the same.
It's interesting because we're always taught to be selfless first. Don't be selfish, help others. But he's saying you kind of have to be selfish first.
You have to put your own oxygen mask on before you can help the person next to you. You can't pour from an empty cup. Build your foundation, then lift others up.
Okay, I'm sold on the roadmap.
Yeah.
But getting started is the hardest part. I'm staring at a blank page. I don't know what my calling is. I don't know what I'm passionate about.
This is where he flips the script with the anti-vision. Most people struggle to visualize a perfect future. It's too abstract. But if I ask you what you hate, you can give me a list in 5 seconds.
Oh, easy. I hate the commute. I hate the fluorescent lights. I hate asking another grown adult for permission to go to the dentist.
That is your fuel. Koe says to write it all down. Detail the hell you want to escape from. Fear and hatred are powerful propellants. They're rocket fuel.
Use that negative energy to push you away from your current life.
You don't need to know exactly where you're going. You just need to know you are leaving here.
Running away from the fire is a valid strategy.
Yeah.
But eventually, you have to run towards something, and you have to make money doing it. The standard advice is pick a niche. But Koe hates that.
He hates it because it's artificial. It puts you in a box. His concept is much simpler. You are the niche.
You are the niche.
Oh.
That sounds like a bumper sticker. What does it actually mean?
It means stop trying to guess what the market wants. Just look at your own life. What problems have you solved for yourself?
Okay, so let's say I figured out how to meal prep for a family of 4 on a budget. Or I figured out how to use Excel to automate my job so I only work 2 hours a day.
Exactly. You had a problem. You solved it. You developed a system. Now, you are the expert on that specific problem, and there are millions of people who are currently where you used to be.
They're just 2 steps behind me.
2 steps behind you. So you don't need to be a PhD or some guru. In fact, sometimes that's worse because they're too far removed from the beginner struggle.
You're valuable because you just climbed the mountain, and you can throw the rope down to the person right below you.
And that just kills imposter syndrome, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
I'm not pretending to be Tony Robbins. I'm just saying, hey, I had this problem. Here's how I fixed it.
You're productizing your own experience. And because no one else has lived your exact life, you have no competition. You're a market of one.
But how do I actually throw that rope down? How do I find those people? He talks about a meta skill, the one skill that unlocks everything else.
Writing.
I feel like a lot of people just rolled their eyes. I hated writing essays in high school. Why writing? Why not TikToks or podcasts?
Because writing is the foundation of all media. A TikTok is a script before it's a video. A podcast is an outline before it's audio. But even more importantly, writing clarifies your thinking.
That is painfully true.
You don't realize how messy your thoughts are until you try to put them on paper. And writing provides what he calls permissionless leverage.
There's that word again. Leverage.
Think about the old world. To get your ideas out, you needed a publisher to say yes. You needed a TV station to book you.
You needed a gatekeeper.
Right. Now, you write a tweet, you write a blog post, you hit publish. The internet distributes your ideas to the entire planet for free. It works while you sleep. That is leverage.
And that's how you build an audience. It attracts your tribe.
Exactly. If you write about your interests, let's say philosophy and graphic design, you attract people who love philosophy and graphic design.
Yeah.
You build a community around you.
This feels big. It feels like we're talking about a shift that's bigger than just the creator economy. Koe calls it the second renaissance.
It's a bold claim, but the history backs it up. The first renaissance was fueled by the printing press. Suddenly, information wasn't locked away in monasteries. It was available.
And it led to an explosion of art, science, and individualism.
And now we have the internet, which is the printing press on steroids. We are shifting from the age of the consumer to the age of the creator.
We've been trained for a century to consume TV, consume products, consume the corporate job.
And now the tools of creation are basically free. You can build a media company with a laptop. You can build a software company with AI. The institutions are crumbling.
The degree means less. The resume means less. The portfolio, what you have actually created, that means everything.
We're moving from centralized power, like big companies, to decentralized power, to individuals. The goal is to find that intersection of purpose and profit, to get paid to be yourself.
It's inspiring, but I have to admit, it's also daunting. When you're an employee, you can blame your boss. You can blame the economy. When you're a sovereign creator, if you fail, that's on you.
That is the price of admission. High agency means total responsibility. There is no one coming to save you.
So to wrap this all up, if someone is listening to this, maybe staring at the ceiling, dreading tomorrow morning, what's the final takeaway?
The takeaway is about entropy. And this is the thought I really want to leave everyone with. Entropy is the law of nature that says systems tend toward chaos and decay.
Right.
If you leave a house alone, it rots. If you leave a garden alone, weeds take over.
So doing nothing isn't a neutral act. It's an act of decline.
Exactly. Your life is a system. If you do not actively inject energy and order into it, if you don't create a vision, your life will decay. Your skills will atrophy. Your passion will die. Your world will shrink.
You have to fight entropy every single day.
You have to build the life you want, or you will be assigned the life you don't want.
That is a powerful reality check. You're either building your dream or you're decaying in someone else's. Thank you for listening to Two Beans in a Pod. Please order Dan Koe's book from the link below.